Hello. I'm taking a break from my usual hunting lectures, and I want to focus on something that kind of hits home. As I said in my abstract, I've been teaching on the community college level for the last 3 years, and information literacy and the ability to get students to sort of understand the importance or significance of an event or a group of people or what have you can be a struggle for for someone who's not passionate, and it's sometimes, as an instructor or a professor, it's hard to generate that type of excitement with your average 17 to 20 year old who doesn't have a care in the world outside of their own little bubble, and especially doesn't have a care in the world about history. Um, Typically, I try to, in that, focus on pop culture or something interesting along that vein. And I found two great sources that demonstrates almost the dichotomy of American culture in the early Republic days. Um, the first one is a boring and dry title. The Federalist, a collection of essays written in favor of the new Constitution as agreed upon by the Federal Convention September 17th, 1787. This is a document that goes into great detail, was widely circulated as well throughout the country, speaking in favor of the Constitution, the newly. This is during the time when it was being ratified. This is just a circular that broke down the Constitution in everyday plain language. It's very serious, and as you would imagine, as you read sources and dig deeper into the culture back then, um, people were a little bit different. They were, generally speaking, well informed, and this is a prime example of that. Yeah, it's just to name a few chapters and some of the subjects. Um, it talks about the dangers from foreign influence, the dangers of war, the war between the states, the effects of eternal war in producing armies, and how that's an affront to liberty. It also there's about 30 or so different chapters. It's quite lengthy. I read through a good majority of it, and it's something that I think I will use personally. But on the flip side, something that's a little bit more fun, I found a play. The title of this is excellent. It's called Federalism Triumphant in the Steady Habits of Connecticut Alone, or The Turnpike Road to a Fortune, a comic opera or political farce in 6 acts, as performed at the Theatres Royal and Aristocratic at Hartford and New Haven, October 1801. As the title suggests, this is a comedy. And reading through it, some of it's quite hilarious, despite the title being something out of like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It is. At first, you would think that it supports constitutional federalism, but it totally dogs it. It is the antagonist, from what I could gather, is a fellow named Long John, and he is constantly bashing Jefferson. And there's the back and forth between the characters. If you would see this acted out, it'd be hilarious. They talk about an an aristocratic party forming in the states, and one of the characters talks about how back in his grandpa's day, when he was governor, that he was called His Excellency. He was Lord, and it was still the royal colony of Massachusetts. Again, back to it's kind of the split nature. This play, by any stretch of the means, is funny. It's a side of early Republic American culture that you typically don't get, because as an instructor, I'll even admit that going over this stuff during this time, it's very serious. I mean, you talk about anti-federalism, Alexander Hamilton, Whiskey Rebellion, and all these serious subjects, and it can be dry. And this play is a way to demonstrate, in a fun way, the importance of the anti-federalism and federalist debate. There's only about 6 or 8 characters in the whole thing, so really it's like one long conversation, it reads, between a few people. And it pokes fun at Federalist. Jefferson, even though he was an anti-federalist, but Jefferson's brought up a lot. It pokes fun at the whole early republic and the formation of the constitutional republic that we've all seen, or that we have now. So it takes a very serious subject and just pokes holes in it, and they have a good time with it. And it was quite popular. It was successful. And they do focus on the turnpike that was eventually put in Connecticut. But this, like I said back earlier in the video, this is an important source for me as an instructor, because of our topic we have this week of information literacy. This gives me so many tools to use in the classroom. I mean, I could have students read this aloud to get the debate of federalism, being a constitutional republic, and all the, for lack of a better word, hullabaloo that surrounded it during the time. And it gets people thinking outside of the realm of the debate between Hamilton and Jefferson and Burr, National Bank, all of those normal topics. And I think this sheds light and compares on what the people felt, what playwrights felt, what poets felt, what some of the more creative types of American society that are usually forgotten about during this period of time. And then, on the other hand, you have a serious circular that goes into detail about the Constitution. And I kind of like that dual nature of the culture. And like I said, I think both of these will be great sources that I'm going to include in an activity, I think, next week. I'm going to take the weekend to kind of tweak it out. But this is a subject that I hold near and dear to my heart, information literacy, and using sources to supplement and kind of give some life to the material that I'm teaching. But thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of your nights. Thank you.